JBNN will keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones, and in the news, 2 killed in People's Arcade in Montego Bay. The St. James police are probing a double murder in the People's Arcade in Montego Bay. Reports so far that the police were called into the area where it is said that the bodies of a man and a woman were found in the commercial space. The victims have been identified as 30-year-old Ricardo Green, a vendor of Glendavon in St. James, and the 24-year-old Vanessa Hopkins of a Centon address. It is reported that shortly after 8 a.m., a resident went to a room occupied by Green inside the arcade and discovered the pair dead. Their hands and feet were reportedly bound. While not confirmed, it is understood that both individuals were shot. Burleigh security guard did not run from attackers in St. Thomas, says Overton. Director of Communications at the Guardsmen Group, Lieutenant Commander George Overton, is denying reports circulating in social media that one of the Burleigh security guards discarded his weapon and ran when confronted by the criminals in St. Thomas on Saturday. The Burleigh team was replenishing cash at an ATM in Albion, St. Thomas, when they were attacked by gunmen with high-powered weapons. Overton, speaking in an interview, says the scene captured on CCTV footage actually shows the guard being shot in the back by a rifle.
So I don't know if anybody has had the experience of being shot with a bulletproof vest and understand the force that you are hit with and what the consequence of it is. So, a lot of people have just made it that, oh, look at the boy and drop the gun, throw the gun and run. No, that man was actually shot at the point when that weapon fell.
So the hands in the air would have been the force of the impact?
That's the force of the bullet that hit him in the back.
2 teenage girls among 3 shot in Westmoreland. 3 teens, including girls aged 14 and 15, were shot and injured in Greenvale, Morgansbridge, Westmoreland on Sunday night. The 3 were reportedly at home when they were shot, police said. The other injured person was a 19-year-old man. Information received was that around 10 p.m., all 3 inside their home when loud banging was heard, followed by several loud explosions. After the shooting, it was realized that the 3 were suffering from what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the right hand, head and right leg. They were assisted to hospital, where they were treated and admitted in stable condition. Police later processed the scene and found 11 spent casings. Taxi operator gunned down in Green Island, Hanover. A taxi operator was shot and killed by a gunman in Green Island, Hanover on Sunday night. He has been identified as 40-year-old Oswald Henry of Caldwell District in the parish. Reports from the Green Island police are that about 9:30 p.m., Henry was parked in the vicinity of the Green Island Square waiting passengers when he was ambushed by one of 2 men traveling on a motorcycle. The gunman opened fire, hitting Henry multiple times before fleeing. The injured man was rushed to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. SSP Ricketts lists persons of interest as gang violence erupts in St. Andrew South. 1 person succumbed to injuries he sustained after 5 people were shot and wounded on Friday outside a churchyard in what police are describing as a gang feud in the Union Gardens and Coaklin communities in the St. Andrew South Police Division. Senior Superintendent of Police, SSP in charge of the division, Kirk Ricketts, in an interview, said that the man who is now deceased was a person of interest in gang-related activities in the Union Gardens area. SSP Ricketts also revealed that one of the injured persons was a church member who was shot inside the church while service was in session. He said that due to the upsurge of violence between the top Union Gardens and the rat-bat gangs in the area, a 48-hour curfew was imposed and police presence in the area has been increased. However, this has not deterred violence producers, as another incident occurred Sunday morning. We have brought in additional resources from the Specialized Operations Branch, and we intend to keep it like that at least until we get to the bottom of this, SSP Ricketts said. He went on to list persons of interest who the police believe can assist in quelling the violence which has erupted in the communities. These persons include Michael Jackson of Union Gardens, Warren Bent, otherwise called Juvenile or Ghost, of Spanish Town Road, David Howard Patton, Denario English, otherwise called German of Delaware Creek Park, Little D from Crescent Road, Sadiki from Union Avenue, Ronnie of Union Avenue, Redhead of Union Avenue, Flash, who is said to be residing in Old Harbour, St. Catherine, and Rubber, who is also said to be residing in Old Harbour, St. Catherine. We have particular interest in Flash, as being one of the individuals who we believe would have been involved in the first incident in Union Gardens. We have already reached out to our counterparts in St. Catherine South with as much information as we have on him and his cronies in that side to locate him, SSP Ricketts said. He went on to implore the other persons of interest to turn themselves in at the Hunts Bay CIB by 12 noon on Monday, May 1. These individuals are from both sides of the streets, and they are the brothers, the cousins, the children of residents within Union Gardens and Cole Lane. I'm asking and beseeching our residents not to support them in this ongoing gang feud that is likely to escalate with your support. We're asking you to call us and to indicate where they are as we search for them, SSP Ricketts implored residents. Vendor charged for a robbery after going to hospital with gunshot injury. A jerk chicken vendor was arrested on charge in connection with a robbery in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, after turning up at hospital with a self-inflicted gunshot wound on Thursday, April 6. Charged is 33-year-old Sean Reed, otherwise called Romain, of Newport District in Manchester. Reed has been charged with robbery with aggravation, possession of an illegal weapon, and using an illegal weapon to commit an offense. Reports from the Santa Cruz police saw that about 7:55 a.m., Reed and 3 other men held up and robbed a man of his licensed firearm. They then attempted to rob a supermarket. They made their demands, and when they were not met, Reed proceeded to hit the complainant multiple times in his face. Later that day, Reed turned up at hospital with a gunshot wound. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, it was discovered that Reed accidentally shot himself. He was treated and released to the police. Reed was positively identified after an identification parade on Thursday, April 27. His court date is being finalized. Domestic dispute blamed for deadly Greenvale shooting. The Manchester police say a gun attack, which left 1 man dead and 3 people injured on Sunday morning in Top Greenvale, stemmed from a domestic dispute. Head of the Manchester Police, Superintendent Shane McCullough, said that the police are searching for a suspect who is a resident of Greenvale. What is happening right now is that Greenvale is one of those places, based on its history, that we have not let up on the type of security measures. But as it is right now, the incident is not deemed to be linked to any gang feud or any other rivalry inside the space. It was something resulting from a domestic dispute. So we'll continue to closely assess and deploy our assets inside the space as the intelligence dictates, said McCullough. We continue to carry out our operational activities and our community relations activities in terms of intervention both by us and partnership with stakeholders and the community. So it's a continuous process, added McCullough. Police identified the murder victim as Andrade Hines, 38, otherwise called Claffey, a resident of Greenvale. Residents report that about midnight, Hines was among a group of people gathered at a bar in Texas, Top Greenvale, in an area referred to as 100, when a gunman opened fire, hitting 4 people and sending others scampering for cover. The 4 injured patrons were rushed to hospital, where Hines was pronounced dead and the others admitted for treatment. It is understood that of the 3 people injured, 2 sustained gunshot wounds and the 3rd person was grazed. McCullough said the scene of the shooting was a regular hangout spot for residents. It wasn't a bar, it was an abandoned shop. They just went and used it for whenever they have any little gathering on the lane, he said. The police theorized that Hines was the target of the gun attack. The domestic dispute would have stemmed from some argument between a woman and him, and it appears that the woman would have went to someone else who intervened, and it ended up in that, said McCullough. Since the shooting, tension and fear have resurfaced among residents of Greenvale, a community located just a mile west of the Mandeville town centre. Residents are fearful of the possibility that the shooting could lead to reprisals. One resident suggested that divine intervention is needed to prevent further bloodshed in Greenvale. A peace war can't help, them need God, the resident said. Another resident suggested that the harboring of strangers in Greenvale is affecting the community. Sometimes it is not those that live here. Sometimes it is some strange people that are taking a district and cause these problems because you don't know who is who, and then you hear about shooting, she said. When asked to respond to the concerns of residents, McCullough reiterated that the shooting was not gang-related. It appears that it is domestic in nature, not anything having to do with any rivalry inside the space, but something domestic. So we currently have a suspect that we are pursuing, and as the investigations continue, we're expecting to make further breakthroughs, he said. He is urging residents to find amicable ways to resolve disputes. 12,000 elderly Jamaicans benefiting from social pension program, says the Muda. Some 12,000 Jamaicans 75 years and older are now benefiting from the government's social pension program. Steps are also being taken to assist another 2,000 would be beneficiaries to enroll under the program, according to the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Carl Samuda. The program was launched in July 2021 to assist elderly Jamaicans who had no pension support. We are aware that some eligible seniors have been experiencing difficulty registering on the program owing to the lack of documentation. Through a collaboration with the Registrar General's Department, the Ministry will be assisting 2,000 elderly persons to obtain their birth certificates, Samuda shared last Wednesday, as he made his contribution to the 2023-24 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives. He made a personal appeal for those in need of assistance and not receiving a pension or an allowance from the government to apply for assistance under the Social Pension Program. The budgetary provision is in place. Don't shy away from registering. Get in touch with your Ministry of Labour and Social Security Parish Office and we'll provide the necessary support, Samuda said. Customers frustrated as numerous ATMs out of service after latest beryllium attack. There were huge crowds outside working automated teller machines, ATMs in the corporate area on Monday, amid a disruption in the ATM network of financial institutions after Saturday's attack on a beryllium limited security team in St. Thomas. The National Commercial Bank NCB ATMs on Northwood Boulevard in New Kingston and the Scotiabank ATMs on Halfway Tree Road are among the numerous machines that were out of service up to early in the afternoon, much to the inconvenience of persons seeking cash and other banking services. It resulted in long lines and huge crowds at the few working ATMs across the Kingston metropolitan area, while many people also flocked inside banking halls. At the NCB ATM in Halfway Tree, many among the scores gathered to use the machine showed their exasperation and annoyance of the long wait. NCB on Sunday warned its customers to be prepared for delays. We regret to inform you that there will be disruptions in our ABM services due to reduced operations from beryllium following yesterday's attack in St. Thomas. We understand that this may cause inconvenience and frustration, but we assure you that we're working diligently to minimize the impact on our customers, the bank said in a tweet. A security guard employed to Beryllium Limited was shot and injured in the incident, which took place at a gas station in Albion, St. Thomas, while his team serviced an ATM on Saturday morning. It is not clear whether the criminals made off with any cash. It was the latest in a string of armed robbery attacks on Beryllium security personnel transporting cash. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.